Imagine feeding 1,000 people in a medieval castle. No refrigerators. No ice. No electricity. How did they keep meat, cheese, fruit, and other foods fresh for months or even years? It wasn't magic. It was engineering. And a little salt. The secret was underground. The castles concealed authentic underground labyrinths where the temperature remained at 13 degrees Celsius all year round. The deeper you went, the colder it got, and the more valuable the food stored there was. Not everything was perfect down there. Sometimes, servants would get lost for days in those tunnels. Once, one was found asleep next to a barrel of wine. The rats ate all the cheese that winter. And when it rained, the cellar turned into an icy swimming pool. That's why the castle had a treasure more valuable than gold: salt. A single pound could buy a sheep. And every castle needed tons of it every year. It not only preserved, it also saved lives. Each castle had a master of salt. He knew exactly which salt to use. Fine for milk, coarse for fish. Some even tried to counterfeit it with ground stones. Yes, there were medieval scams too, salty ones. Before refrigeration, smoke wasn't just a flavor, it was survival. Castle kitchens built dedicated smoking yards, operating day and night during autumn. They smoked up to 200 pounds of meat per day, preserving food for the long, brutal winters. Oak was used for beef, applewood for wild boar, and alder for fish. Each wood had its own smoke signature. The castle's smoke master guarded these chambers like a vault, because smoked bacon was as precious as gold. Some cuts hung in the smoke for 3 months straight, cured by nothing but time, heat, and skill. Medieval kitchens took pickling to wild extremes. Giant barrels held hundreds of gallons, enough to preserve 800 pounds of vegetables in one go. They didn't just pickle cucumbers, they preserved eggs, cabbage, onions, even beets that turned purple and made castle kids laugh at dinner. The pickle master? That was a real job. His notes included recipes, temperature logs, and even tricks like adding grape leaves to keep vegetables crispy. In a world without vitamins, pickled food was medicine, survival, and status. Some pickled fruits were reserved only for the Lord. When all else failed, they turned to honey. So powerful that modern scientists have found jars still edible after thousands of years. Medieval castles kept massive beeyards half a mile from the walls. Beekeepers were well-paid, well-fed, and well-loved. Honey-coated fruits, wrapped vegetables, and even preserved whole geese. Its power? A mix of high sugar, natural acid, and bee enzymes that made it deadly to bacteria. Infirmaries stored different honey types for coughs, wounds, even depression. It wasn't just sweet. It was sacred. Castles didn't just store food, they were engineered to preserve it. Stone walls kept the heat out. Ventilation shafts pulled cool air from underground like natural AC. Storage rooms were placed by design. Cheese caves with angled shelves for drainage, dry chambers for grain, and wine rooms with precise humidity. Even the pest control was built in. Rats couldn't climb certain ledges, and cat runs let felines patrol inside the walls. The architecture itself was a food preservation machine. Running a castle kitchen was like managing a small city. 50 workers, 15 of them focused only on preservation. Apprentices trained for 2 years before they could touch a cooking pot. They learned to identify spoiled meat by smell, rotate stocks, and manage the nobles' hunger like clockwork. Everything was tracked: tally sticks, chalk marks, parchment logs. And every castle had one golden rule: don't eat the winter rations too early, or starve by spring. Spring was for saving what remained. Summer brought a flood of herbs and fruit. Autumn was war, salting, pickling, and smoking in triple shifts. They even held preservation festivals, half food prep, half drinking party. Winter? It was math and fear. Miscalculate, and your people starve. Castle cooks divided the season into phases: fresh stores, deep stores, survival scraps. And they watched the skies like prophets. If mice took extra food before frost, they knew a harsh winter was coming. The ultimate test came during siege. In 1216, Dover Castle held out 3 months under attack. Their food preservation system saved them. When the cellars flooded, Staff moved tons of food overnight to higher ground. They sealed grain in clay pots, rotated cheese wheels, and used vinegar to stop mold. Food tasters checked not for poison, but for spoilage. 20% was always lost, but 80% meant survival. And that was enough to outlast an enemy.